Hello, everyone. This is Evelyn Ackah from Ackah Business Immigration Law. Thank you so much for participating and being a part of our Facebook Live. Today, we're talking about immigration and the impact of the coronavirus and taking any calls and questions you have. I've started this already once or twice before, and there seemed to be an excessive amount of people on Facebook because I keep getting dropped. So I do apologize. I'm going to start over again and try to provide you with as much information as I can, and hopefully we'll be able to finish this without any delays and any loss of information. If anything does happen, feel free to contact us at @AckahLaw.com, 403-452-9515. You can always call us if we're not able to get through this Facebook Live today, because everyone in the whole world is on Facebook now that they're all quarantined and isolated and social distancing. So let's try to get through this as quickly as possible, but at the end of the day, you know that you can always reach me at Ackah Business Immigration Law. You can contact us at contact@AckahLaw.com, and we'd be happy to help you and answer any of your questions. Okay, so let's get started. There's been so much happening, and first and foremost, I want to give my best to everybody. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. For anybody who has gotten sick or has lost anybody, a family member, deeply held condolences to you. I'm very sorry if you've had a tragedy. This has been a crazy, crazy few weeks for everybody in the whole world, and I'm thinking of you all. At Ackah Law, our goal over the last few weeks has simply been to provide support and to reach out to our clients and contacts and see if there's anything they need, not to open a file, but to see if they have resources that they need, if they have the supports they need, if there's anything we can do to help. We're here for you, because we really do know that this is a time of uncertainty and everybody's anxious. So if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Reach out. If you need a referral to another provider, another resource, we're here to assist you with that. Okay, so one of the main things we're going to talk about today is how immigration and coronavirus are being affected. And the first thing, obviously, is right now people can't even get on planes easily. So please, I think my main message, if nothing else, if I don't get through this whole Facebook Live because of the technology issues, is please do not travel right now. Please stay home. Let's try to take care of each other by doing the isolation as much as possible. Right now, the Canadian government is working on some exemptions to travel for when we're ready to receive people into Canada. So those are things we're going to talk about as well today. So for now, workers, students, and approved permanent residents who have not landed yet in Canada, they've been told not to travel. The government is planning on announcing some exemptions to some work permit applicants and some student applicants, or those already who have them, as well as those with permanent residents, so that they can come and get landed. We've got clients around the world who have their certificates of permanent residence, but they can't land at the moment because they can't fly. So for now, please hold on. There will be more information coming out once the government finalizes its exemptions, and will make clear to everybody who can enter and who can apply for work permit and who should not be coming to Canada. So that's the biggest thing. If you're coming in to apply for a NAFTA Canadian work permit or a study permit or to get landed in Canada, please do not come yet, but we will notify you as soon as the exemptions are released by the Canadian government. Another thing is there are travel restrictions on immigration at the moment, and so that means that air travel is restricted for everybody who is not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident or immediate family member of a Canadian, because we're trying to stop the outbreak of COVID here in Canada, just like you all are in all of your countries. So please, it's really important that if you are coming back, only people that are allowed to come back with you are immediate family members, and there's an actual description or definition of who is considered an immediate family member. I'm going to go through that list. Those that are considered immediate family members are spouses or common law partners of the Canadian or permanent resident, dependent children, parents of children, or guardian. That's it. So basically your children, your partner, and whether you're common law or married, and somebody who's a guardian, let's say of a student who's coming to school, for instance. That's it. So keep that in mind. If immediate family members does not mean your brother or your cousin. They are not eligible to come into Canada with you, so please keep that in mind. The other thing that's happening, if you are able to return to Canada, if you are a Canadian coming back home or permanent resident with a permanent resident card returning to Canada, there are some exemptions. You must be coming back and you have to spend 14 days in isolation. If you're coming, let's say, as a snowbird from the US coming back to Canada, you must be asymptomatic to return to Canada. You cannot come in if you're sick. And when you come in, then you have to spend 14 days at least in quarantine so that we can be protected as well. You know, that's really important. This is all about protecting each other and staying safe. So again, if you're Canadian or permanent resident right now coming back to Canada from anywhere in the world, you must be asymptomatic and you must spend 14 days in quarantine. If you're coming from the United States, this is the same for you as a Canadian returning, like a snowbird or somebody who was in the US and is now returning to Canada. As well, there are some travel restrictions related to travel at the border. I've seen a lot of different pieces of information. Some of my colleagues in the immigration bar across the country here in Canada have said that some of their clients are able to travel to the border and get a work permit, or flag polling, which means they leave Canada, they get a work permit upon re-entry and they get back in again. I don't recommend this at the moment. It is very, very risky. And also it is very much, what does that mean? Are you gonna have to go into quarantine now that you left to go to the US to turn right back around to apply for your work permit? I don't think it's smart. There will be an announcement shortly as to who can apply at the border for a work permit, and if you can go to the land border to renew your work permit or apply for a work permit. For now, please hold on until those exemptions are shared with everybody. I can tell you that the immigration bar across the country is being very, very, very active. We're trying to get the latest news as quickly as we can get it. We're pursuing information by immigration and refugee offices and Service Canada offices to get as much information so we can share it with our clients. So please be patient. One of the other questions people have been asking is, will I be able to enter Canada if I'm a permanent resident? If you are truly a permanent resident, that means you have your permanent resident card. Yes, you can return to Canada, and as long as you're not exhibiting symptoms, you can return to Canada, and you can go into isolation for 14 days. But you must have a valid permanent resident card to return to Canada. If you don't, I would not recommend returning to Canada. You may even have trouble getting on the plane. Okay, so please keep all of that in mind. One of the questions that's on the IRCC website is that people are saying, if I have, ability to land, I have a COPR, Certificate of Permanent Resident, can I come to Canada? No. At the moment, please don't come. You cannot get landed right now. The borders and the airports are so busy dealing with this crisis and trying to take care of Canadians returning to Canada that you really, really, really need to wait. So please hold off until we get the words of the exemptions that are coming, and we'll make sure to share them with you. The other thing people are always asking is immigration still accepting applications? And I can tell you absolutely. We are still doing lots of work for our clients. We are still preparing applications for consular applications, work permit extensions, permanent residence, spousal, every application at the moment we are still doing. And the reason is either we don't expect delays, or also we're waiting to make sure that everything is going to continue processing for our clients. So we're not holding off, because I have a feeling at the end of this, whether it's a month or 2 months from now, there will be a significant backlog of applications and applicants. And I think it'll just overwhelm immigration because they're on a skeleton crew right now. What we want is for our clients to feel protected. We are doing all we can to push through the applications we can to get them submitted and get them in the queue so that when IRCC employees go back to work and everything hopefully normalizes, they will have their pile of applications and our clients will be as high up as possible. We want to avoid any delays for you to do your business in the US, do your business in Canada, or to come to Canada as a worker or as a permanent resident. So we are proceeding to process and prepare applications for our clients. We're not waiting. Okay, the other thing I want to say to you is that right now it says that even though there are travel restrictions in place, immigration officials and workers, they're still working on applications. So that means that they may be slower, but they're still working in applications. We expect that there may be some delays, but do not wait to submit your application, especially if it's a consular application, an online application, or a physical permanent residence application that goes by courier, or some of those other applications that goes to immigration offices. Do not wait to submit them. Get them moving now so that you will not have to experience the delays that undoubtedly will occur in the late spring, okay? The other thing I've heard is that people are asking the question, what happens to people trying to apply for temporary or permanent status? Will they lose, let's say your work permit is about to expire, will you be at risk of not getting renewal? And the government is saying no. They are giving people 60 to 90 days kind of leeway so that they don't lose their status because of this crisis. It's not fair at all. And so the government is very aware of that. And I think it's important to know that they will still be able to keep working in Canada while they have work permits, even if they expire. And the same with all their other applications categories. So long as if you're here, you should extend it so that you benefit from applied status, but you are able to keep working and able to keep going to school, all the rest of it. Do not go to the border to see if you can turn around to renew your document. As I've said before, it's not worth the risk. Please do not leave the country to do a flagpole and turn around and get your new document. Just apply online, and we can certainly assist you at Ackah Law so you can keep doing what you're doing and stay safe and stay in the country, okay? One of the things people are asking about are about international students as well. They haven't arrived yet. If they haven't arrived to start, the government is saying please wait until they do get the exemptions out so that you know if you can get on the plane and come into school in Canada. Right now, as you know, all schools are closed. A lot of people are doing online schooling, and we want to make sure that you're safe. So please do not come to Canada yet until we're all clear as to who can travel. Some of the challenges, my clients are facing is what's considered essential travel. We've got clients here in Canada who have really important projects in the States that they need to keep moving on. And we've been talking about should they try to get their work permits, their TN visas, the intercompany transfers, or even going as business visitors for meetings if they need to. Again, we always recommend virtual meetings. And at the end of the day, I say to the client, it's totally at their discretion. They want to risk it and try because they view, that there's a crisis happening or there's a piece of equipment that is broken, that is affecting revenue, which is already being challenged, then you try. I think if people already have TN visas, they can go and make an application to try to enter the US. Same with Canada. In terms of what is considered essential workers, that really still is kind of up in the air. I think people who have business reasons that need to travel, they know what they consider essential. This is not for tourism by any means. It is when it's critical, and they have to be able to explain why it's critical, and they have to be able to show the officers and satisfy the officers why it's critical. As long as you're aware that there's full discretion and that you may be refused, if you'd like to try, and you don't have any symptoms, you're asymptomatic, you can try. I'm always erring on the side of caution, and I always tell people to please hold out and let's wait and see what else can be done before. If anything can be done remotely, let's try that first. So one of the things I want to highlight here is Ackah Law, for instance, we have 3 offices, Vancouver, Calgary, our main office, and Toronto. And the other 2 offices, Vancouver and Toronto, they're virtual offices. When I go to those cities, I can meet clients there, but we do most of our work virtually. Most of what we do has always been by email, by Skype, by FaceTime, by Zoom. Most of our clients are all over the world, and I meet maybe 10% of my clients unless they come to Canada once they become permanent residents and they come to meet me, which is always thrilling. I don't see them. And so we're able to stay safe. Right now, all of our staff is working from home, and we're able to continue moving files along. We've always worked virtually, and so this hasn't been a change for us at all. We've used technology to talk to clients face-to-face always because of the distance, and we continue to. Very few people ever used to come into our offices anyway, just those that were local or those that wanted to meet in person. At the moment, we're not meeting any clients in person in the office at all. Everything we're doing is by Zoom or FaceTime or Skype. And I think obviously being able to use this technology, and we've been doing it since 2013, it provides a number of efficiencies that allows us to offer our flat fee pricing. Being able to say we're doing everything virtually, remotely, with couriers, with our advanced technology and our practice management programs that we use to communicate with clients, and portals that are secure, and all of that cloud-based technology, it has allowed us to offer flat fee pricing so that clients know what's predictable and what to expect. That's something that I'm very proud of. When I left big firm, maybe now almost 10 years ago, because now Ackah Law is celebrating our 10th year this year, I was focused on flat fee, technology, doing things differently, being able to provide as much support to clients as possible, and not worrying about each 6 minutes of time being docketed. And right now, in terms of this crisis, I think it's even more valuable to our clients to know exactly what to expect, to know that we're offering flat fees, we're offering value-added information. You've seen I've been doing blogs and videos every day basically since this all happened, and now we're moving to weekly Facebook Lives to share as much information as we can. So I want you to know that. Before we finish this Facebook Live, I just want to share a few more pieces of information. So basically, people are asking about what's happening with their work permit applications. If you've got something in process now, Immigration Canada is allowing for 90 days in addition. So basically, if there's documents that you are supposed to provide, biometrics, police certificates, anything else that's outstanding in your application, IRCC is giving people 90 additional days to allow you to respond, because everybody's busy. And we also know the number of those third-party agencies, whether it's the Educational Assessment Organization or your IELTS or your 𝒅𝒐𝒏𝒕, your language test, they're closed or they're working on a skeleton crew, and everything with them is moving slower. If they've asked you for additional information, just know you have an additional 90 days, okay? And that includes biometrics as well. Right now, I heard biometrics at some locations at Service Canada have actually been suspended until further notice. So 90-day extensions are being granted. Please keep that in mind, that is what the case is right now. The other thing that's really important is that anybody who was supposed to become a permanent resident, they have